All right, we want to graph this one and then answer all these questions. So let's first graph it. First thing I'm going to do is think about what numbers to plug in. Normally I want to do 1 in the base. But what I want to really do here is I want to think, okay, what plus 6 gives you 1, and what plus 6 will give you the base of 7. Now if you solve this first one, you would notice if you minus the 6 over, you get -5. And here if we minus the 6 over, you're going to get 1. So those are the two values you're going to plug in. You're going to put -5 and 1 because those will give you 1 and the base. That's a little tricky. And you also have to realize with this right here, it's saying that you are going left 6 because it's like an HK, it's a -6H. So you can go left 6. So my asymptote is actually going to be a vertical asymptote right there at -6. So be aware of that. Those are kind of key things to start with. So when I plug in my numbers, I have 2 out front times log base 7, and when I put -5 plus 6, so when I do that, I get 2 times log base 7, 1, which that is 2 times, and log base 7, 1 is 0, and 2 times 0 is 0. So that is -5, 0 is my coordinate. There it is, right there is my first coordinate. Next, I'm going to have 2 times log base 7, 1 plus 6, which is equal to 2 times log base 7, 7. And log base 7, 7 is 1, so that's 2 times 1, which is 2. So I have a coordinate of 1, 2, 1, 2. With those two dots, I can see the graph. So my graph is going to go right up next to the asymptote, make a turn, and look kind of something like that. That right there is my log. Make sure you don't go past the asymptote. I almost touched it there, which is kind of not the greatest, but it goes kind of like that. So let's answer some questions here. The asymptote, what is the asymptote? What's that green line? What is the equation of that green line? Well, that green line is going through -6, x value of -6. So my asymptote is x equals -6, because it's going through x of -6. It's a vertical asymptote. My domain. Well, my domain is what values do I have on the x-axis? So what values can I plug into this log that won't error out? So what you notice is I can't plug in -6 because that's an asymptote. I can't plug in -7. Anything over here doesn't exist. So I'm really plugging values from -6 to the right. So -6 to the right, what that's saying is you're plugging in values where x is greater than -6. You can also write it as -6, comma, infinity. Okay, that's another way of writing it. Either way is perfectly fine. Next part is when is f of x, but this is f of x, this graph, equal to 2. When I say equal to 2, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to graph a line of y equals 2. All right, and where do they intersect? Right there. So when does the blue graph f of x equal to the yellow graph? It is at what x value? And that x value is at 1. So x equals 1 is where they intersect. Last question, what is f of 43? Well, f of 43 is just saying 2 times log base 7, and we go 43 plus 6. Now if we do that real quick, that gets us 2 times log base 7, 49. And if you think about that, that's saying 7 to the what power equals 49. Isn't that 2? So that's really 2 times 2, which is 4. So f of 43 is 4. Meaning if you go all this graph all the way over to 43, which is way over here, I'd be up 4. So my graph is actually a little inaccurate because way over at 43, I'm actually hitting 4. So it should have been a lot slower growing. But I didn't know that when I sketched it.